A while back, Alan with As Wood Turns did a video showing the use of the Beal spindle tap and how he used it in a project. And I commented on it and told him that I had one, and he messaged me back and asked me if I would share the ways that I've used it. He was wanting to learn some of the uses of the Beal tap. So I've only used it for 3 different things, and you see them there. And I will go to the lathe here in a moment and mount them on the lathe and explain why I made them. Of course, on the left is the Beal spindle tap, and for my lathe it's a 8 threads per inch, 1-inch tap. And Alan explained the use of that, and there are several videos on how you use it, so I won't get into that. The original reason that I bought the Beal spindle tap was to make a glue block, which is, this is the original one I made. And I ended up drilling a hole here so I could put a bar in it, because it will get on there tight and it's hard to get off. But I made this for a glue block, and actually the original reason I made it was to make bracelets with. Someday I'll make a video showing how I did them. I do them a little differently than Alan does, so someday I will do that. And then I continued to use it as a jam chuck when I needed one, didn't have anything handy, or it was going to be a longer process. Fact is, you can see I don't even remember what I used this for, but there's one that I made, and here's a bigger one that I made. And if you'll notice this line right here, I've got this much to use before I get to the threads. Actually, the threads are about 1/4 inch this side of the line. The second use I found for it is a similar use, but I made it the same way as I did the jam chuck, with the hole for removal. And the purpose of, I'm going to be in front of the camera, I know, but I made a bowl for a friend of mine. Gotta put it on there correctly. Trying to do it without blocking the camera, which is not a good idea. I made a bowl for a friend of mine, and the bowl was this big, and I didn't have any way to hold the bowl when I turned it around. It was almost too big for my lathe. Measured almost 12 inches in diameter. But anyway, I needed some way to hold it while I finished the bottom, so I glued this piece of MDF onto the glue block, which I was using to make bracelets with, and then I turned this to act like a jam chuck, and I put the bowl on here to hold it while I finished the bottom of the bowl. And then not long ago, I purchased a live tailstock chuck adapter from one of the catalog folks. And this chuck adapter is a live center that goes on the tailstock, has the same threads as my headstock. 8 threads per inch, 1 inch. So, in fact, I used it, originally bought it, to use it in centering and mounting segmented rings for segmented projects. And then I discovered one day that I needed what Captain Eddie calls a soft center. I think that's what he calls it. something to hold I was turning a box, lidded box, and I needed something to hold it without making a mark on the end. So I turned this piece of cherry, and now it will go up against, and it'll work just like a tailstock, only when you finish you don't have a hole in there. Don't know what that was. Anyway, Alan, those are the 3-4 things that I've used the spindeltap for since I had it. And anyone who watches this video, I'd like to encourage them to share with all of us some uses that they've made of the spindeltap. It's actually a tremendous it's a tremendous tool. There's one other thing that I'll tell you, another thing that I intend to do, and I haven't done it yet, but here's a future use I have for it. A while back I built a disc sander that mounts on my lathe, and I used this faceplate, and the faceplate is constantly occupied and tied up on this sanding disc. So what I intend to do is use the spindeltap, turn a piece just like the one I showed you before, and then it will be dedicated to my sander, and I'll have the use of my faceplate should I need it. So there's a future use for it.